Mic check 1 2 1 3. Do people still say that? Is that still a thing? Because it's still my favorite thing. Spinderella, cut it up one time. Well, anyways, welcome. Welcome to Say More Words, where I say all of the words. My name is Tamika Taylor, and I'm so happy that you're here. One of the things that I'm really passionate about that I'm going to tell you right up front is music and memes. And so each episode, I'm going to start the episode with a song of the day. I like to tell Siri to play whatever music she thinks I need to hear for that day. And this morning, she decided to play My Boo by Usher and Alicia Keys. And that's the song, right? That's the vibe right now. And if you don't love that song, I hate that for you. It's such a good song. And thankfully, one of my friends shared it as a meme like, if I'm in the car with you and that song comes on, you best be ready to sing along. So, anywho, that's the song of the day and the meme of the day. How are you? I hope you're good. This podcast has been a request that I have gotten over and over and over again to have where I just speak the words. I say what's on my mind and you get to either learn something, you get to hear a story. One of the things that I'm really passionate about that we lost over time. We are the most connected generations that have ever existed, but we are also the most far apart generations. We don't tell stories. We maybe show glimpses of our day or show the highlights of our life on social media, but we don't tell stories and we don't share the good and the bad, the light and the dark. It's just highlight reels over and over and over again. And so I wanted to start Say More Words because I want you to say more words. And I find, what I know to be true is that when you show up authentically as yourself, it gives others permission to show up authentically as themselves. And so in this space, you're going to get a little bit of me. You're going to get a little bit of some of my favorite people when I have guests on, but you're going to get a lot of stories. You're going to get a lot of insight. And you may not connect to every story that you hear or every lesson or every teaching that you hear, but you may know somebody who does. And if you can pass that information on, that would be amazing. Share it with your people. Share this space with them. If you want to say more words, by all means, reach out. We would love to have you. Now, why say more words? I, by trade, am a mindset and leadership consultant. I work with individuals, teams, large crowds, and conferences on mindset, leadership, and personality development. And what is fascinating to me is that every person that I talk to, any person that I've ever come across, I've had to say the words, say more words. Because for whatever reason in society, we have handicapped ourselves or stopped ourselves from saying more words. We will give a little bit of information and describe nothing else. And it leaves so much to the imagination, which is great. But also, is it? We have a lot of conversations that don't make sense because not all of the information is given. So I want you to say more words. I am a recovering just stop talking person. I grew up the talker. I swear, as soon as the words could come out of my mouth, I started talking. And I was constantly told the thing that the kids in the 80s, we were all told, right? Be seen and not heard. Stop talking. Stop telling stories. Stop with the big imagination. And as an adult, the more that I started talking, the more I realized the imagination or how powerful my imagination was and what I could do with that imagination. So I want you to say more words. When I was moving from my very first home in Texas to our new home that we got last year that I manifested, which we're going to have a podcast about manifestation here soon and manifesting the home of my dreams. When we moved, I found a report card from when I was 3, not even in the 3rd grade. I was 3 in preschool and it was like, everyone loves Tamika. She's so great to be around. She needs to work on not talking so much and not telling people to not be her friend. And y'all, I'm going to be straight and upfront with you. That is when my leadership skills started because I knew what I wanted and I knew what I wanted to say. And so I hope that in listening to this podcast, in being a part of our space, that you do the same. So, saying more words, describe more, live more, be in joy more. These are philosophies that I stand by, I live by. Say more words, but also tell me what awesome things are happening in your life right now. Along with not providing enough information, we don't provide enough joy. In our society, if you're in the United States, you know that negativity runs wild, especially in social media. Even though people are sharing their highlight reels, negativity runs wild. It is easier to be negative than it is to be joyful, because when you come in with negativity, what do people do? They show up with all of their baggage as well. Oh, you had a hard day? Well, guess what? I'm having a hard life. Or you didn't sleep last night? Well, I slept 30 minutes, right? It is a competition as to who can be more negative. I like to live in a world in which who can be more joyful. What happens in your circle if you show up and you're like, here's all of the awesome things happening to me right now? Are your people going to be excited? Or are they going to say something really bad about you? Or like whisper behind your back about it? If they are the whispering behind your back people, you've got the wrong circle. In this space, I want you to shout from the rooftops what is making you feel really good. What are you really grateful for right now? What is making you happy? What is bringing you joy? Part of the reason why I start these episodes with like what song I'm listening to right now, because music makes me so joyful. I love, one of my unofficial love languages is, I heard this song and I thought about you. Ugh, I love it. It's my favorite thing on the planet. Okay. What makes you happy? And can you talk more on that? People can talk all day about what makes them upset, and I'm sure you can too. But can you talk about what makes you really, really happy? What's bringing you joy today? Tell me all about it in great detail so I can feel the joy, and then that joy radiates from my body, and then I spread that joy as well. Part of saying more words is learning to talk to people again, to have the conversations, to spread the joy, to have the conversations that are really hard, but because they're really hard, they dive into and help somebody else heal. You're going to hear more about my story, what we like to call a really colorful past. It is sprinkled with all sorts of different trauma situations. But here's the deal. My future is not, because I choose to live in this space and talk about it. But because I talk about and have healed through a lot of that trauma that I've experienced, I now get to create a blueprint on how to live a different life for people who've experienced what I have. You're going to hear from people on this podcast who have experienced wild, ridiculous things that you've only read about in books. But you get to hear it from their standpoint. And you get to hear it from a real life human being. And you get to hear how they survived it and what they're doing and how they're bringing joy into the world because of it. This is going to be a magical place for you to move forward and learn. There's going to be lessons, but there's also going to be triumphs and joy and different stories that are maybe just really fun to tell at parties. I don't know. I really hope that in this space you understand that it's going to be a conversation, and it's not always going to be perfect. And it's not always going to be pretty. And Stella's not always going to be on point. If you're new here into my space, I'm going to let you know that Stella is my hair. There's going to be an entire episode about Stella. But we are going to show up authentic and real. And I did not swear that much on this episode, but please know that I love Jesus, okay? It's important for you to know that I love Jesus, but I curse a lot. I do. And I allow the people in my podcast to curse if they want to. It's important for you to know that I believe in joy and I believe in gratitude, and I believe that everybody here on this planet has a purpose. I believe that we run into people on purpose. I don't believe in coincidences. Very important for you to know. I believe in the power of Jesus, and I also believe in the power of the universe. I believe that also, though, you are able to believe whatever it is that you choose to believe. It does not affect me. I believe in long conversations and that traveling heals all. I believe that just because you haven't talked to somebody in over a year, that connection isn't lost. I believe that understanding and knowing yourself is the most important thing that you can do. And if your relationship with you is not top notch, no other relationship in your life is going to be top notch. I believe in happiness and hugs and growth and leadership. And I believe that having fun first leads to success second. So, here in this space, you're going to learn about it all. You're going to have me some episodes. We're going to have some guests some episodes, but you're going to hear some really fun stories. It's always going to be real. And soon we're going to have a couch that you can sit on with me and hear the stories. I want you to experience this podcast like we're sitting together on the couch having a champagne or an old fashioned, which is also my favorite, or maybe even a hot coffee having a conversation. You can feel free to reach out to me on any of our social medias at Say More Words Podcast. The space is yours. The space is mine. I can't wait to not stop talking with you. We'll have a new episode that launches every week. Love you, mean it. Bye.